Welcome, everybody, to the local pundit. It's time for day 2 of our transfer show, the midfield. Who are we going to pick? Where are they coming from? It could be anywhere. Welcome, everybody. We are back for day 2. Boys, how are we doing?
Day 2.
Oh, there we go.
Paddy's
swapping around. All right. So, are we ready? What's going on? How's everybody feeling? Patty, are you feeling better today?
I am feeling a bit better. Yeah.
See, I already knew that. We actually asked him before. It wasn't like yesterday where we knew it was okay to ask.
Yeah. And I don't know how everybody else is feeling after day 1 in the chat, but day 2 going to be an interesting one today. I'll take an interesting angle on this, but I'll be very interested to see Aaron's deep dive.
Yes, we've got quite a few more players today. I think we've got 15 total between the two of us, so we're lots of people to look at.
So between the two of us, we've got 15. Just for everybody out there, I've got 4.
I may have went overboard. Some were special requested. So I had to throw those in. But yeah, we'll get into it and we'll see what we got. Now, I guess we can do some news that is somewhat relevant. Story come out today about Parky looking at the loan moves, loan options, and talking to Premier League loan managers, which isn't surprising. I think we all kind of thought there was a chance. It's just that we haven't done much of it. So, any takes on that, guys?
Well, Paddy, what's your take on loan? What positions would we get loans in, do you think?
Well, it's going to have to be our midfield and potentially in the attacking role. We could take someone on simply because we can rotate players. They will get some playing time if they're good enough. But some of other positions, if we are challenging for playoffs, and that's what they're targeting at least, they're not going to get a shot. We're not going to get a defensive line and swap people in. Highly unlikely. Wingers aren't used very much by other teams, so they're not going to want their players doing wing backs. So have to be midfield into attackers.
And generally, loan players, the clubs want them to play too.
Yeah.
They're
giving them to you to help you out with wages, a good player, but you have to help them out by playing them. And I don't think we're necessarily in that position. We might for backup, but it has to be a position that Parky will rotate or put them on after a period of time during the match. Like our centre mids, they don't come off. They just stay the whole match. So you're not going to rotate them there. So
yeah, he actually spoke on that in that article too. One of the big keys is when you get a player like that, a lot of times those teams, they're expecting them to play. Yeah. So he doesn't want to, you don't want to make promises to a player and another team and say, yeah, we're going to play him and then not play him. So that you want to make sure it's the right guy. It's got to be the right fit. So yeah, we'll see. I don't think John Merrill in the chat already starting in on me. I don't think I've got any Villa scum today, John. I don't think.
No, I can confirm. I put no Villa players up there today.
And Ted Nelson wanted to know whether I didn't get the memo about the home kit tonight. I'm trying to do my best big boss impression in a tee.
The t-shirt's too bright.
Too bright. It needs to be black.
It has to be darker.
Yeah.
It can be black, but you have to pretend it's like a charcoaly dark grey, even though it doesn't look like it.
Stuff it.
Here we go. Sarah with a good question. Do loan players count on our 25? Well, it depends on the loan player. Is he under 21?
No, it doesn't. Hang on, you're wrong.
What?
In this year, loan players do count even if they're under 21. It is only players you own under 21 that are not counted. Yeah,
Really?
that's a change for this season. Yeah.
Really? When did that come out?
I'm not sure how long it's been in place, but
I did not.
everybody's been discussing this since the start of
Well,
summer discussions.
I'm tearing up Braden's contract right now.
So this is a problem with loans. Yeah, we can't just suck in loans for the extras.
That's
Or underage loans, I mean. Yeah.
Carol's having a drive back at John for you, Aaron. I think Carol that John secretly enjoys his time here. He's a closet Wrexham supporter.
He's definitely a closet Wrexham. It's not that big. It's not that much in the closet. I mean, he's on here every show. He's here every show. He can't get enough of the Wrexham.
Do you know what though? I do think we're probably too friendly with Birmingham as a club as well though. Like, where's the animosity? Look at our owners and their owners getting all friendly, sitting down for meetings. How are we going to market the two teams? You give me a shirt, I'll throw it away. You go buy it back, then give money to my charity. Yeah, it's like too friendly.
I'll tell you what, Paddy, 3 games left in the season and we're tied in second place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well,
let's get into this.
Ready. Let's get into this thing. I'm ready.
Oh.
All right. Number 1, Hazard. You didn't have to wait long. He's been talking about Plymouth in the chat before the show even started, and was discussing some other players. And the first player I had ready is Adam Randell. He's a midfielder. He played in their system. He plays a defensive midfielder. He could probably play anywhere in the midfield. Our center mid would probably work for him too. But he's actually a really, really good player. He's only 24. This season, he's only got 1 goal and 3 assists, but defensively, he's a really strong player. I did have a few notes on him too. Sorry, I switched around on my phone. So his contract expires in 2026, so the end of this coming season. So again, with some of the players we had yesterday, if they're going to sell him, this would be a good chance to do it. And considering they did just go down, they might be looking to offload some players. He is a vice captain at the club. Parky likes that. He's got a thing for grabbing captains. So generally they're a little older than Randell, but he's a player that's at least well respected at his club. And see, so here's one thing that I kind of look for, and this will be kind of a theme running through a lot of my picks. Randell is considered a key player in his team's set piece strategy, contributing to both scoring and assisting.
Yes.
So he can take set pieces, and he's really good at them. This is a quote from his former coach, Wayne Rooney, who is known for his set piece taking. He said, "I think he's better at set pieces than me, to be honest." So,
Aaron, I think you've just put a smile on Paddy's dial when you've just mentioned he's good at set pieces.
That was something that I did take a look at. It was something that I kind of made sure I wanted to look at all these different different players. I wanted to see, could they take set pieces? No, not all the guys that I pick can or do, but a lot of them do. It's a theme, a central theme that runs through some of my things. Another thing with him that I thought was interesting, he has the same agent as Matty James and George Evans, or at least the same agenting firm. Maybe not necessarily the actual agent, but he's through the same firm. So we know sometimes that helps.
Familiarity.
Doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it can't hurt. So that was something when I did some digging on him. But there are a lot of championship teams. I've already seen a handful of teams have kind of like, at least their fans have said we need him. So he is one that I see everybody's shitting on Rooney. Okay, listen, I didn't say he was a good manager, but when it comes to set pieces, I think he knows what he's talking about. I would trust Wayne Rooney when it comes to set pieces. Adam Randell, good set piece taker, takes corners, takes free kicks, scores free kicks. I think there's a couple videos of him scoring free kicks on YouTube. So yeah, that's so how good is he at set pieces? I mean, that's fair, but I mean, I don't know if depending on which side he's taking them from.
They had a pretty
I mean,
crap season, so they didn't
they
get
had
rid
a
of it.
right. I mean, they've, you know, it's yeah. Like I said, he's a good and defensively, he's pretty. I wouldn't trust Wayne or anything with
Well,
that
look,
bunch.
in fairness, if Lee can score himself from a corner, why can't this guy?
Yeah.
You know, like how good is he really?
Yeah. He's yeah.
I just remembered that goal as you said it, Paddy. Okay,
That was incredible. That was yeah. But anyway, yeah, he's a good player. I think he actually fits. He really fits what I'm looking for. Age wise,
Yeah.
he's been playing in the championship. So experience is there. Just real quick, I want to look at so his average rating on FOTMob this season was a 7, which is just that's right where you want to be. Last season, he had 4 goals and 2 assists last season. Average is 6.8, so not quite as good, but still decent. And then the season before, he had 4 goals, 4 assists, and a 7.3. So he's a steady Eddie, good, and he's only 24, so he's going to get better. He's getting better, and that's something I think will be important for us going forward. So I think that's enough for Adam Randell, unless you guys got anything else you want to mention.
Before we move on, we might as well mention that they're after losing their manager today.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
So teams, not only have they gone down, and teams will be looking to raid them, now their manager is gone as well. So people will be feeling insecure in their positions, not knowing what the new manager is going to particularly want. It might delay us a little bit in getting deals over the line because they're waiting on getting a new manager potentially. But they will lose players over this. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah, I agree.
And Marie, sit tight on creativity. It's coming.
Okay.
All right.
Next up then will be Daniel Barlaser.
Yes. So on him, I took a little different route with him. So he's kind of been playing. He's a player that's played at the level, has experience at the level. He's 28 years old. He's a right footer. Only 1 goal and 1 assist this season, but he's playing a backup role. So he's coming in 4 players. They've got 2 really good young midfielders that are contracted for several, like they've got them locked down. So they're not getting rid of the 2 that they are playing in front of him. But he's a player that I thought, okay, so he's not getting as much playing time as he probably could do, because he's a good player. So if it just, for instance, last season, as a starter, he had 5 assists and he averaged a 7.2 rating at Middlesbrough. The year before that, he had he went on loan, or he got sold middle of the year. That's what it was, went on loan. So he started the season at Rotherham in the championship, had 2 goals and 7 assists, had an average of 7.1 rating. Moved to Middlesbrough, only got 1 assist in the last 12 games of the season, but averaged a 7.2 rating. So then the season before that, 21-22 at Rotherham, he played 52 games, had 9 goals and 10 assists, and had a 7.5 rating. This is a very solid player. So, and that was League One, to be fair. So his stats were up, but it was League One at the time. Did want to clarify that. But he's played at the championship level and been solid in the championship. And right now he's playing a backup role. So it's a player that we could bring in and could bring some quality to us, and he could probably get some more playing time here. And from what I've seen, I don't think they're adverse to selling him. I do believe his contract, let me double check. I have it written down. Sorry, guys. I've got my notes kind of. Yeah, his contract does end at the end of this season also. So another player where if they were going to sell him and make some money off of him, now would probably be the time to do it. So, yeah, I think he's really good. John Merrill in the chat there. Barlow's really good number 6. Yeah, absolutely. He reminds me. To me, I kind of thought of him as a younger version of Matty James. I think he's got that ball, he's got that pass, and he's got that quality. But he's 28. So you could have him for a few more years. A real good number 6. So yeah, I really like him, and I think he's a player that we could get. That's one that I do think they would sell, but would bring quality to our team. So yeah, I really like this one. Any thoughts, guys?
Good player.
Yeah, I think so.
I've taken a different angle to this show, but I understand why you would pick a player like this.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one for me. Is this the type of player we're going to add some in? He's not necessarily going to be one of the key players, but are we willing to bring in 2, maybe 3 players like this to bulk up our squad? Who may not necessarily be an immediate number 1. Maybe they prove themselves. Maybe they just become a very solid depth player. Who knows? So, yeah, it's a curious one to see whether we go for this. I wouldn't expect this type of player to be our number 1 to be starting all season. But not necessarily a bad get.
Maybe I would say I could see him being a player that we bring in. Maybe he doesn't start right away. But I think eventually he gets his way in and just
he could.
I think very much like Rathbone did this season, where he got his chance and he took it and he stayed in and just never came back out. So I could see that type of a situation with him. Good quality squad player, though. You know what I mean? And we need some more depth at midfield. There towards the end of the season, we were getting a little light in the midfield. So I definitely think we need to beef up our midfield a little bit.
Well, George Evans was injured. Otherwise, he would have been playing. I would have thought he must have been injured, and then just wasn't up to the quality. Even if he was fit, a slightly injured Rathbone or Dobbo was always going to get a start ahead of him.
Yeah. So just before we move on, there's one comment here I want to bring up from Scott. I know it was aimed at the last one. I'm generally wary of taking players from relegated teams. Now, this is a yes and no scenario for me. I understand why people would say, oh, they're not. If you're in a relegated team, you're not good enough. But Parky likes someone who is proven under fire, that they can keep playing. And Dobbo was one of those players where it was noticeable how hard he worked, even though they were getting hammered every match. He just kept working for the team again and again and again. And that does show some serious qualities that Parky likes, especially in around defence. If you've been a relegated team, you have been defending for your life all season. So if you show you're good enough as an individual, but you need a better team, I kind of like it.
Yeah, a couple real good examples of that there last season was with Rotherham. We got Rathbone and the other kid, the wingback, the young wingback. Rev played there. We didn't buy him from them, but he was on loan at Rotherham when they went down. Also, it was Stephen Fletcher before he came to Wrexham had gotten relegated at Dundee United, where Dalby played this season. So, we've had players in the squad that have been really good players for us that, our player of the season this season came from a relegated squad. So, there's gems to be had there. There's gems to be had.
And one thing I would say that may be a little different as well this season is with regard to the idea of getting free transfers. It's always preferable to get someone on a free transfer. But I think we have to be at the stage where we'll take someone in their final year and pay 1 to 2 million and just eat the cost of it in order to get the player in. So we have to be willing to do that if we think they're going to fit a role that we need. You can't always be relying on free transfers as much as we would like to get them. So I don't think 1 or 2 million is really a crazy number to be overly concerned about to get someone out of a contract if we want them.
Okay.
Not at this stage, championship. Next up, Ken, and we switch tack for a minute.
Yeah, so
Oh.
we're in, Chris. We're thinking EFL only players. That is not true. We're heading across the Atlantic. We're away. I'm over to the MLS in the Western Conference. I have taken, you will notice the theme on my players when you get into it. David Ayala, central midfielder, 25 years old. Now, not going to be expensive. Lots of upside in this young guy. He's actually, wait up. Have you given me the right? No, wrong David Ayala. That's okay.
Oh.
There's two of them. Yeah, that's not him. No.
Okay.
The David Ayala I have is from the Portland Timbers. So this is not the guy we're looking at. He is only 22 years old, my guy, and he is Argentinian, and he is left-footed. And he is going to cost us a bit more than that. His current market value is $3.3 million, just so you know. He's primarily a defensive midfielder and also plays in the central midfield. So Portland Timbers in the Western Conference, currently in 6th position. He's had 1 goal and 1 assist. He's played a bit over 1,000 minutes for the year. Now, he is 676 successful passes, 88% on pass accuracy, 59 long balls, 72.8% long ball accuracy. Now, this kid at 22-year-old Argentinian is definitely someone that I can see has massive upside and could definitely be someone that we take all the way to the Premier League if we've started looking at players like this. Because my take on this show was this part of our squad is solid. Not amazing, but really solid. And a lot of our current players starting there are going to be fine starting there this year. So I look for players that can possibly break into the team and may be future stars.
Okay.
So yeah, so this is a good one, and there's more to come, guys. Get ready for the little gold nuggets that are coming as Aaron plows through.
All right. So before you bring this up, Patty, this up, I just want to say, of what Ken just showed us, this next one is the exact opposite.
Okay.
Somebody's going to see this and say, what are we doing? And just hear me out.
Okay. Here we go.
Barry Bannan. We had to get an old guy. Okay. I had to bring up an old guy. Barry Bannan. Barry Bannan. Hey, he's still got a little bit of hair, it's not all gone. No, seriously though, Barry Bannan is he's one of those guys. He's a really good midfielder. Okay. Now, I don't think that I'll start with this, and I actually put it in my notes. This is not one that I would take right off the bat. I would not expect to see us signing Barry Bannan at the beginning of the season. But if we get down to deadline day and we're running out of time and we've got nobody, we haven't got our targets, this is not a bad signing. He's got 9 goal contributions for Sheffield Wednesday this season. He's played almost every single game. So he's playing at the level. All right. He's not. It's a player that he could do a job. Okay. He's not. John Merrill says he's got to retire now because I believe he's released. John, he's on a free, so he's got to retire now. So yeah, he's Barry Bannan. Yeah, like I said, I threw him in there just because I thought this is a guy that you could pick up towards the end of the window if you didn't think you were going to get the guys that you wanted. Always have a safety valve that you can hit. And
this is your backup plan.
Yeah, this is a backup. This is a backup. I don't rate Matt. I don't have to deal with Chansiri. He's on a free. He's gone. He's out of there. Free money. So yeah, that would be my thing with Barry Bannan. So great, was an awesome mid. I mean, I would have loved to have him, 5-7 years ago. You know what I mean? And he was just killing it. But I mean, how many players? I mean, we say that about a lot of our players. And so this is one of those you could see. I just screamed Parky at the end of the window. He needs to get somebody in. He's like, you know what? This is a guy
If
we
we
can
end
get
up
in.
signing this guy, you are going to come up looking like gold, Aaron.
No. I don't think this. Honestly, this is a long shot. I don't think this happens. But I just wanted to throw it in there because it's like that's a guy that you could get, and he's not like he'd hold out. I could see he'll hold out towards the end of the window, and he ain't gonna sign for nobody till late. If he does, he may retire. I don't know, but if he still wants to play, he can play. I mean,
do you know what though? At least he has 4 and 5.
That's what I'm saying. He's contributing.
He has some. Yeah, he's contributing to the team.
He's played 41 games this season.
I have to put that comment up. I have to put that comment up.
And here's the thing: he's played 41 games, and he started 40 of them. It's not like he's not playing. This guy's playing every week, like he really is. So, in 3,400 minutes, 3,469 minutes this season, and he's averaged a 7.17 rating. He's a good player at the level. He just is. He's old, but he's good. So I think I'd be okay with it if it was towards the end of the window. We hadn't got the guys we wanted, and we needed one more guy. I think I would be okay with Barry Bannan being in the team.
Okay.
Barry Bannan is so old he can't take pictures in 4K. Look at him. Look at the picture I ended up with.
Yeah.
It's like some 1990s digitization. Okay.
Wow.
Moving on. Let's keep this rolling. We're only on 4.
Next. Yeah, we got to keep moving. Otherwise, we're going to be here till.
Okay. Alex
Mowatt. Now this would be an interesting one because I'm not even sure we could get him. I think he's probably been, if not their best player, one of their best players at West Brom. So he's one that I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull up his stats real quick. I should have done it quicker. But he's one that they signed him before last season on a deal to a 2-year deal. There is I do believe they have an extension clause that they can put in. And he hadn't before this season. He'd been a solid player, but he hadn't done as much for West Brom, and they'd actually loaned him out at one point to Middlesbrough. But they brought him back in last season. He had 2 goals, 5 assists, and then this season he's got 7 goals and 2 assists. He's played 44 games. He started 39 of this, played 43 matches, started 39, and his average ratings is 7.3. So a really, really good player at the level. Obviously, he scored a few more goals than a lot of these guys. His just looking at his stats, the attacking stats are super high, and his defensive stats are super high. He's just a really, really good player. He is 30 years old, so he's not as young as some of the other guys, but he's not an old player either. I mean, he's in his prime. And so if we were going to get him, it's going to be expensive. They're not going to let him go cheap.
Carol, that's assists and goals. Carol, is what you're asking.
Yes, the 7 goals, 7 goals, 2 assists for this season. That's what that is, Carol.
Right, other way around. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Goals and assists. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So yeah, he's like I said, he's a really good player. Also, let me check my notes. Real quick, get him pulled up. Okay. So he's like I said, he's out of contract in 2026, so they could sign him this season if they wanted to. He's a left footer. And obviously I haven't watched a ton of him, to be fair, but apparently from what I could see, he's very dangerous from set pieces. Another player that can take set pieces. So he checks that box for us. I mean, that's definitely something that we want to be looking at. And he ticks that box. So I think this is the type of player Parky would probably like. He's experienced, 30 years old. He's, not too old, but he's got plenty of experience at the level. Good, solid. He's been really good this season for them. Good defensively too. so he can play that 6 role, but also he can get forward and score for us if he needs to. Yeah, I like him a lot, but will they come off of him? They may not. I could see them saying, "Nah, he's just not for sale," which wouldn't blame them. So yeah, that's Alex Mowatt. Really like him, but we'll see. That's one of those. Love to get him. Not sure that it's doable. Not sure if we can. So
Okay.
Now we're back to international again.
Back across the Atlantic.
David Ruiz from Miami.
David. So he's Inter Miami's in the Eastern Conference. He is 21 years old, right-footed. All of my players, just so you know, too, guys, are free. They're on a free. They're out of contract. So we're not going to have to pay for any. We're just going to have to get them, not have to pay out of contract. Now he is, like I said, he's 21. He is young. He's preferred right foot. He had no goals, no assists this year, but and he's only young. He hasn't been getting much start. But this kid from Honduras has some serious upside. His stats are very low. The only things of note is that he is literally pass accuracy at 81% because he's hardly had a game start. But I have watched a bit of footage on this kid and also some of his other matches in youth teams and whatever. And I really liked him. I really thought there was a lot of upside in this guy. So you could definitely get, I've definitely lent towards players that we may buy for, anywhere between 1 and 3 million, but literally bringing them through and making them $5-10 million players in sort of 2 years without any drama whatsoever. And whether that means they stay with us or we sell them on in time depends on how they fit with the squad going down the line. But yeah, I really like this kid.
Yeah, especially if you can swing 1 year of not counting in the squad. So if I remember correctly, he turned 21 in February or something this year. So he should count as a freebie.
Yeah.
For the first season. So that will give us a chance to kind of evaluate him, see if he can break into the team, not cost crazy money, and then, as you say, either sell on or become part of the team.
Yeah.
Long term.
Yeah, if he's getting enough upside that you can see a future year, yep, let's keep him. And if he's improved and had a good season, and you've bought him for 1 and you're selling for 3, well, that's just good business.
Yeah, at least something.
We could move on.
Yeah. I
Cool.
like that one. All right.
Up, Tom Cairney. We've heard all about him. Oh, look, he's old again.
We've been linked to him. This was one of the special. This was special ordered by Carol. He wanted me to do this one. Tom Cairney. Obviously, we've talked about him several times now. He's at this. He's playing at a higher level, and he's playing a lot. He is a backup player, but he's a captain at Fulham. This is a player that is well and truly probably above this level,
he's a good-looking rooster. He'll sell some tickets.
My only concern is I know a lot of people got excited about Tom Cairney. I think that whole story is I think that's agent driven. I don't think he's going to come here. We've had their manager say that they wanted to keep him at Fulham. We've had him say he wants to stay at Fulham. We've also had Humphrey Carr say they've never talked to him. That doesn't necessarily mean there's no chance that we can get him, but it doesn't sound good.
Humphrey's never talked to him.
Exactly. Now, maybe just because Humphrey doesn't know doesn't mean nobody else does. But as far as a player, though, he's unbelievable. And when he played at this level, he was really good. The thing is, he's been playing in the Premier League for 4 seasons now. So, or I guess 3 seasons. This is his 3rd season in the Premier League that he just finished. So, and then before that, he was averaging, over a 7.1, 7.2 average rating in every season in the championship. And there was a few of those that were in the Premier League too, because they kind of Fulham jump up and down. So yeah, he's a wouldn't turn him down. You know what I mean? Wouldn't say no for sure. It's just, can we get him? Is he really wanting to look? Is he really looking to drop down? I don't know. So we'll see how that one goes, and I'm sure we'll hear more about it if things start to heat up, or if he doesn't get a contract offer from Fulham. Then maybe things do heat up. But because there's always generally there's probably something to it, and I don't think we probably didn't make the offer that was put out there, but there's a good chance that we at least touched base and said, hey, we'd be interested in him if he's leaving for a free. Would he be interested in coming here? That's a possibility. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I love the wording. You always have to be careful. We haven't spoken yet. Most of the early stuff is done by email. It's like just a single twist of a word can completely change what you're saying and just allow people to run with it. So who knows?
Yeah. It's one of those deals. But we know that manager or that agents like to use our name to push some things, and it really made you wonder, was he just, the number that was thrown out there, was he just looking for a better deal than what Fulham was offering him? Maybe they were looking to cut his pay a little bit, and he didn't quite want to take that pay cut, and thought, well, the agent said, if we get an offer here, maybe they'll drive up their price a little bit. So and it's possibility. And I'll tell you what, if he came into, it'd be unbelievable. It'd be a great signing. I'd be all for it, but I have my doubts that it can happen.
Yeah.
Another thing as well with some of these early contacts is you have to measure the market. You have to get an idea of what sort of value people have on their players as well. Yeah. Especially when we have so many options. Like if we want to target players who are ex-prem and stuff, we have to figure out how much they're going to cost. Are they even in a zone that we're going to play in this season or not?
Yeah.
And Paddy, you're right. And if we go down that route, it will be the previous path that we've taken to get to where we are now, where we've bought experienced players in that are at, without sounding cruel, end of life. Like they've got a few years left in them. They're not future players that are going to be like a Max Cleworth or, dare I say it, a Harry Ashfield, or any of these young guys that are going to have years ahead of them, hopefully with the club.
Yeah, I expect this season again, we're going to go a bit older, a bit more experienced for the first season. And then every other window after this, they'll start getting younger and younger and introducing younger players throughout the team. I don't think he's going to take huge chances on a really young team first up in Championship. It's just not Parky.
Crushing all my transfer rumors, Paddy.
No, look, we can do both, and we probably should be doing both. I'm saying, like, you can start it now, but there's no way he's going to abandon experience and older players. And some of these players are getting discarded by other teams because they've been there and done it for quite a while. These players are getting more expensive. They've got younger players with upside coming in below them, and they're willing to let them go.
I think it'll be, personally, I think it'll be a lot like last season. I think we will get some younger players in, but also it's going to be a good mix. It's not going to be, he's not just going to bring in super experienced players only.
Yeah.
But I think he will. He's going to bring in some young players with potential also. It was a good mix last season. Kind of surprised us. We were all a little bit surprised because we thought last season it was going to be,
we got Rev,
experienced players. Exactly. We got a lot of younger players. So it won't surprise me if we get similar players to that. Younger players that are young enough, not necessarily babies, but young players that are good.
I've got them in the list, Darren. I've got them in the list.
I do too. We're still going. All right. So this next one, before you bring it up, this one it breaks my heart. It's not going to happen, but I had to throw it in there anyway because I really want him. Want him. It's not going to happen.
Not burying the lead on this one, is he?
No, I'm not burying the lead. This one we can blow through pretty quick, but I had to throw him up there because I really wanted him.
Okay.
You ready?
All right. Yeah. Go ahead. Josh Brownhill. He scored a shitload of goals in the championship this season. I wanted him. It does look like he's going to re-sign with Burnley. The last I checked last night, there was a report out that I think they are giving him a contract. I think he was holding out for some other Premier League teams to maybe offer him, and he may still. But it does look like he's going to the Prem. He was 29, so I thought maybe there's a chance because of his age he may stay in the championship, and I thought we'd have a chance. But to be honest, it doesn't look that way. I mean, he averaged a 7.47 rating in the championship this season. He's an out-of-this-world player. He scored 18 in the championship, and I think he scored a handful more in cups and other competitions also. Had 6 assists as well. Yeah. So there you go. John Merrill said Everton and Newcastle are interested too. See, I couldn't get any. I was looking. I saw that was rumored, but I couldn't find an actual report that somebody put that in there. So I was waiting. I'd seen people say it, but I hadn't seen a report. But I did see I don't know if it was from a local reporter or who it was, but somebody reported that it looked like Burnley was giving him an offer and he was likely to sign it. So, so we'll see how that goes. But hey, maybe just in case, maybe nothing comes off, and at the end of the window we swoop him up and we can grab him. Yeah, he'd be unbelievable for us. So, so yeah, we can move on, Patty. We can move on from there.
Back again.
Here we go, people. You want younger players? Here they are. Obed Vargas, who plays for the Seattle Sounders. Now, he is a defensive mid, obviously. He's as I said, all my players are on a free. He's only 19. Now, I mean, so we get a couple of years of him not even counting on the squad list. And he is an absolute, get some Mexican toughness here. So he is a Mexican. He is a Mexican player. He literally had 1 goal, 1 assist. He's played 12 and started all 12 of those matches this year with a rating of 7.48. Now, this guy is quality. And my last 2, of which this is my second last, are the 2 that I really would go in for out of the 4. And so Obed Vargas, expected assist 1.06, successful passes 560, pass accuracy 87.7, accurate long balls 19, and long ball accuracy 65.5%, created 11 chances. This is, Mexicans are renowned for being tough. Parky loves good, hard footballers, and this kid is 19. Ryan, get in there. He's in Seattle. Get over there. Have a chat to him and get him to Wrexham.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah. Here is, when I talk about upside, this is massive upside. And, I would happily pay the 3 mil to get a kid like this. You think if you want, okay, so I think we need 6 players. If you had to pay 3 million a player, that's 18 million. And I think we're going to be spending more than that.
We'll see. It'll be interesting. That's going to be the most interesting part of the summer, is how much are we going to spend?
Yeah.
You go, Paddy.
I said last season, before we started, that potentially it's now is the time to start just gambling on a few players. That we should maybe pick 2 or 3 players, $500,000-ish, million max, bring them in, keep them around the squad, have them under the 21 cap, and try and build them up and see what they can do. And look, if it doesn't work out, doesn't work out. Move them on, loan them, whatever. Again, it still holds true for this season. I would say if you have 19-year-olds, definitely 20 that's still getting 2 years, the idea of paying up to $1 million-ish, for something like that, yeah, why not? Bring a couple in.
Yep. And there's Henry. He's a Sounders fan. Unfortunately for you, Henry, he's out of contract. So, you're gonna have to open up the checkbook to keep him. And if bigger clubs come calling in bigger leagues, and sorry to say it, but the Championship is a much bigger pond than the MLS, for the future of a player. So, I just think this type of player, like you're talking about, Paddy, and I'm happy to spend a little bit more for someone where you can see like a good couple of mil, 2-3 mil. I think he will be. Yes, yeah, Ted. You think he'll get manhandled? But have you ever watched a Mexican in a boxing match? Those guys just do not stop. I would not worry about a Mexican getting manhandled. They handle themselves very well.
I wouldn't be worried about the physicality in the MLS. There's plenty of physicality in the MLS. It's the quality I worry about. The quality's not there. Not saying he's not. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
Just watching it, it's definitely a lower. It's not championship level.
Well, and to be fair to Paddy and Aaron, I may have given Paddy my list 30 minutes before the show started, and so they haven't been able to do any homework.
I haven't. Yeah, having to look at his players at all. So
that's also So and that was totally my fault. I went to a State of Origin game over here in Australia last night, and so Paddy got the list very late. But
yeah,
the best
he didn't even tell me what teams they were playing for, which is how I ended up with the first guy. For
the wrong guy.
that was totally on me. I had to in the private chat give Paddy the players and the team, so that way he was. So yeah, fair play, Paddy.
I got the other ones right.
yeah. So, but I mean, look, these types of players are the types of players I've been leaning towards in this part of our squad specifically. Not in our centre backs or our attacking mids and strikers. Yeah. I've looked for a different style of player, but for this part of our squad, I've looked for players with upside.
Yeah.
All right.
Right. Next up, then we are back to EFL. Charlie Savage, a name we have heard a few times before.
Yes.
We're going hunting at Reading again.
Oh, Reading, yeah. Where do they play?
Yeah.
Huh? They're not in the Championship.
League One. Nope, League One now. They're in League One. So that's down below us. Well, down below us.
Have a good case for this now.
They've got new owners.
Hey.
Yeah, but we've looked at this boy before and he hasn't come to us.
Yeah.
Should I put him on my McAtee list?
Well, here's the thing. Here's what we know about Parky.
Go on.
If he likes a player, he still likes him. And he will chase, because apparently we chased Sam Smith for a few years. McAtee, we know we've been after him since the National League, because on the TV show it said McAtee on the board, so we knew he was a target for years. So Charlie Savage, he's a young midfielder, lots of upside. Obviously everybody's seen, we've seen him play, and to be fair, he wasn't fantastic against us, but he's been really good this season. I think this would be a great player. Going forward, he's going to be a player that he's going to get better. I think I'd be really happy with him. He's got 5 goals, 9 assists this season. Obviously, it's League One, but you're gonna have to get. You're not always going to be able to buy from the championship. You know what I mean? You're going to have to find some players that are coming up that can play. And I think Charlie Savage is one that can move up to the next level. I think most people do also. So, what's he going to cost? I don't know. I don't think there's a chance in hell Reading let him go for the $650 million or 650,000 is what that is, that it's saying there. I think it's probably going to be more than that. I don't know how much more. I
rarely do this, but it better be less than 2 million.
Maybe. I don't know. It's a hard one to value.
And see, the only reason I say that is because he's 22. He's now taking up a spot in the roster as well. This is the problem. This is the problem for young kids, is they need to make their name while they're still outside the squad.
Yeah,
they really need to be saying, I'm now 22. I have to be registered in the squad. You better be taking a place and seriously taking it. So that would be my worry.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair shout. But I think he's a player that I think he could get in the team, and then going forward, I think eventually he's pushing some of those guys out. So, and he's really good at set pieces. Another one. that can take set pieces. So,
Yeah, but it won't help us if he's not on the pitch.
Yeah.
well,
That's the problem.
but you got to have.
So he has to get on the pitch first.
Okay. I mean,
who's he replace, Aaron?
I could see him in for Dobson.
Where the Debbie Downers sitting below you there, I wouldn't like. Yeah, okay. I mean, look, I'm gonna do James from Reading Away FC days a favour here. I wouldn't take him.
I think you're nuts if you wouldn't take him. I think he's definitely a player. I think he's definitely a player worth getting. Somebody will end up with him. If Reading, if he stays at Reading and they don't go up, he'll be moving on soon. He won't be there forever. I think his contract runs out. He might have an extra. It might be 2027 on him. I gotta look it up. Yeah, he's 2027, so they could hold on to him another year before they really needed to sell him if they were going to. But I think that's a player worth getting if we could get him.
Well, what do you reckon we move on? We got still.
Let's
still
move on. Let's go on. Minutes. Yeah, we got a few. Yeah, we got to get going. All right.
We're not terribly far off. Our time's okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Alex Robertson. He can play anywhere in the midfield. He's actually played a little bit as an attacking mid for them in a 4-2-3-1. I think they had some injury issues, and so he moved forward and started playing for them. But he's another young one. He's 22. Yes, he'll take up a squad place, but really good. Really solid player. He was getting good. He had a good average rating early in the season when he was playing in more of a 6 role. As a holding midfielder. And then, like I said, later on in the season, they moved him forward. He's playing that 10 in behind a striker and playing really well. He actually played, so he did both equally good, I think, both roles. So, yeah, this is another player that I really like him. They may try to keep him, but, they just went down. I don't know how. I have no idea how much money Cardiff has. Will they be looking to sell some players?
They have got a new front of shirt sponsor, Aaron. Visit North Wales.
Visit North Wales. There you go. Well, they won't be visiting North Wales this year because they're going to be in League One. So, yeah, but yeah, they no, he's one that's. And he's been linked to some other championship clubs, so it wouldn't be just that we would be fighting for him. So,
okay. Quick question then: do you take him or Savage?
Him or Savage? I'd probably go Savage myself.
Would you? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
After the championship.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think I like Savage. I really like Savage.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
So yeah, we can move on. I'm ready for another one.
Okay. Here is now, even though this guy's not under 21, this is one guy I would absolutely take, and I would take straight away. Playing for Pedro Vite, central midfielder, 23 years old, playing for the Vancouver Whitecaps in the Western Conference, who are leading the Western Conference. So he's 170 centimeters tall, obviously from Ecuador. He has started 11. He's played 13 and started 11 of those. He's had 4 goals, 1 assist. He's primarily a central midfielder, plays defensive mid, central mid, does play attacking mid or right wing as well, so he can fill a few roles. And his stats are off the charts. Expected goals 1.72, goals on target 2.99. Shots 24, shots on target 11 out of 24, 1 assist. 473 successful passes, 85% pass accuracy, 66% long ball accuracy, created 18 chances, 16 successful crosses. Like, this guy is a player, and he could put Matty James out of a starting position.
Really?
Yeah. Now that's and I rate Matty James.
It's interesting.
This is the sort of player that would put a lot of pressure on the starting lineup, and he's a really good player.
All that sounds really good, but I think you also just said XG 2 minutes ago, so I'm not quite sure whether I can believe
Yeah,
anything you
sorry.
say
That's a red
now.
card. That's a
Sorry.
red card.
Yeah, I should red card myself. I should red card myself. Yep. Yeah, but he is definitely a player, and he is one of the main reasons Vancouver are on top of the table in the Western Conference. So he is one of their quality players. So as you'll notice, every single one of my players, I have gone troweling through the MLS and started rating some of the better younger players through there that I thought would fit into our squad.
Good.
Okay.
Good. Who's going to be our first truly international incoming?
Look, I've picked, I've picked a whole heap of South Americans today. which is just such a, it is just a gold mine for footballers, people. Like, you think of all those countries that just produce absolute, football gold, Argentina, Ecuador, Brazil, Mexico, and the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, we have Lewis O'Brien, Swansea City, another Welsh team.
So he's been, we were linked with him about a week ago or maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
This one, this is an interesting one because I think it's one that could actually happen.
Yeah, just to be clear, he's on loan was on loan to Swansea. He's actually contracted with Notts. That's far.
No, Nottingham Forest. Yeah. Absolutely. His contract expires at the end of the season, and I think they've made it fairly clear they're willing to sell him this summer. So there are teams looking. Obviously, Swansea are interested. So there were some others. I think there's even some European clubs that were looking at him. I can't remember. Was it Valencia? Might have been one of them. I can't remember. Yeah, there was a handful. There was a few clubs that were interested in him. But apparently we were one of them. Yeah, and that would be the John Merrill just brought up. He's on big wages because, like you said, he's contracted Nottingham Forest. Obviously, if Swansea, if I think we can compete with Swansea. So if Swansea's seriously in the race, I think we can be competitive with them. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. So I don't know what he'd be looking to get. And what, because obviously they'd rework his contract somehow, I imagine. I mean, you're going to have a year of it, but, I'm sure you could do, they play with the stuff, make the numbers work for them. But I think if we can compete with Swansea. So if they're leading the way, I think we definitely can get that player. I think he's a really good player. His numbers aren't crazy, but he's also, here's the problem. His stats are a little weird because he got in this weird, they loaned him out in the middle of the season, a couple seasons ago, and he went to the MLS. And so he went to the MLS for a half a season, then came back here, then went back to the MLS for half a season, then came back. So he's, it's been a weird one for him. So so at first it was, he was at Nottingham Forest. He played 17 games in the 22-23 season. Then they loaned him in January to DC United. So he finished, so he played with DC United, and then then came back, went to Middlesbrough, was on loan at Middlesbrough, then came back, then went to LAFC in January. Or no, that was actually, I'm not even sure when he went to them in 2024, early 2024, and then came back and this past January went to Swansea, and so he played half a season with Swansea, played 16 games with them. So his numbers are a little weird because he's been back and forth. He's been in so many different clubs, you know what I mean? Just like half seasons basically at the last 4 clubs he's been at. So that's got to be hard on a player to try to settle in and get, but he's been solid though. At DC United, he was getting a 7.4, 6.9 at Middlesbrough, 7.3 at LA FC, and then a 7.0 at Swansea. So he's playing well everywhere. It's just, I mean, he needs to settle down somewhere. Wherever he gets to, he needs to get somewhere to settle and get some playing time. And he'd probably really be good. But he's 26, so he's young. He's plenty of life left in him. Plenty in the legs still. He's going to be a good player for a handful. That's a player you can put on a 3-year contract and not be worried about and be happy with it. Then maybe even add on a year at the end if you wanted to. But yeah, I think he could play, and he definitely is a guy. He's a player that could go in, slide right in, and play that Dobson spot in our midfield. And I think he'd probably go right in. Nothing against Dobson, but I think that's a player that could go slot right into the team. And you know how Parky is. It may not work that way. Parky would want to, probably see him, but I think.
I think any players we get in are still going to have to earn their spot, aren't
I think
they?
so. Well, it's weird though, because Dobson was the one. Dobson didn't. Dobson was in right away. We bought him in the summer, and he was in right away. But maybe it was just because he got in early enough. So maybe it's just timing. Maybe it's a timing thing because Dobson did come in so early. So I think it'll be interesting to see. And we know how Parky likes. He likes to hold things off late sometimes, and we make some bigger signings towards the end of the windows. Because I think they feel like they can get better deals, which is probably true. But it leaves that we're all wanting them right now. So Lewis O'Brien, I think he'd be a fantastic player, and I'd love to have him.
Who you got next, Darren?
All right, so let's bring up the list. Who do I have? No.
Jordan Clark. We are back to Luton Town.
Oh, he's back right in Luton.
Back to Luton. I really like Jordan Clark. Jordan Clark is a player that's too good for League One. I'd be really surprised if he stayed down there. I think Portsmouth have expressed an interest, or at least it's been reported they have. There's a few other teams I think that had looked at Jordan Clark. Jordan Clark is he's really good. Solid player to level. He is 31, but that's the kind of player that Parky likes. He's a really good set piece taker. Get out of here. John Merrill. This guy. I don't even have time for. What's this guy doing in our chat? Just for that, I'm going to add one.
You keep ribbing Aaron, John. Go hard.
He's getting me. I wouldn't even saw it if Patty hadn't started laughing, and I knew. I didn't even have to look up. I knew John said something smart. I had to, but no, he's Jordan Clark. He's a versatile player. They've played him in the attacking midfield. They've even played him in the wing on occasions, but mainly central midfield. Solid player. I would be. Get out of here. Okay. Jordan Clark would be a great. I would love to have Jordan Clark. I don't care what John Merrill says.
He would have scored that goal that you missed out.
He probably would have because I'm not good, and he gets paid. He gets paid to play. But yeah, he's a right footer. He's not the captain at Luton, but he has been named as a captain occasionally. So he's an experienced player that we know Parky likes to have that type of player in the squad. So yeah, I would like to have Jordan Clark. And I ain't the only one. I think there'll be a lot of teams going for Jordan Clark. I would be super surprised if he's still at Luton.
Well, in fairness, he can't be spending that much time in the treatment room if he got 6 and 6.
That's what I'm saying.
With Luton on a relegation season,
good point.
Yeah.
Great point, Paddy. Great point.
Yeah, he's a solid player. So yeah, I don't know what John's talking. He's played 40 matches this season. What are you talking about, John? Get out of here. I had to check myself because I was like, wait a minute, what the hell is he talking about? And then he's played plenty of football. So yeah, he played 42 this season. Okay, so maybe he's hurt a little bit last season. He had 26, but then the season before that he played 44. So We don't listen to these Brum fans. Get them out of here. Aston Villa's better anyway. Everybody knows that.
You've gotten under his skin, John. Just look at him go now. You've got the hairs up on the back of his neck.
I've blown my wad though. I don't have anything else. I threw out Aston Villa. That's the best I got.
Okay.
Right,
Have you still got one more to go? Have you still got one more to go?
We have one more to go, and now it is time for something completely different. We have a loan potential.
Ooh.
Boom.
Ooh. All right. Tyler Morton. Tyler Morton's an interesting one. There have been rumors that we might be looking at him. Might be interested in getting him on loan. Interestingly, he didn't go out on loan last season. And I'm not sure why. Like, I can't figure out why they didn't send him out on loan. And I tried to figure out why, and I couldn't. I don't think there's an injury issue. And apparently, he had a deal really close with somebody at the end of January, and it just fell through at the end. So I think they were trying to get him out. It just the right deal never came. No, he was on loan the season before. He was at Hull City, and then the season before that, he was at Blackburn Rovers. So he's played in the championship. I just don't understand why they only played him 5 matches. Liverpool. He's at Liverpool, just so everybody knows. He played. He did come out he had one appearance in the Champions League, which was, I think it was a quick bit, part. And then he played 3 games in the EFL Cup and 1 game in the EFL or in the FA Cup. So those were the games he had for Liverpool. Didn't play any in the Premier League, but played 41 games for Hull the season before and scored 3 goals and had 5 assists. Season before that, he played 46 games for Blackburn Rovers and had 4 assists. No goals, but 4 assists. So this is a potential loan move. He's still under contract, I think, for a few years. So I don't know that it would be a buy deal, but I do think he'll probably go out on loan this season, I would say. And this is one I want to say Rob Ryan Red may have said, had mentioned his name. I don't know if they'd heard that from an agent but apparently we were interested in maybe a loan move for Tyler Morton. But I think he'd be great. I'd love to have him. It'll be interesting to see if we use interesting to see if we use the loan market this year. I know we talked. Parky talked about it today, but he also, I kind of read. I know a lot of people got excited when they read it, or when they heard about it. I read into it a little different, because if you listen to what Parky said and when you read the interview, he definitely highlighted the negative reason, the negative things about a loan and why it's hard. Yeah. So while he definitely said they would look, he did confirm that they would be looking and they'd be in contact. He didn't necessarily say they were definitely gonna, go into the loan market. So what a for sure thing. So yeah, we'll see if we use it. I mean, I think it's definitely, you can get some great players through it. You know what I mean? So, I'd love to see us get some good players on loan, but Parky just seems to he likes to have his own players. You know what I mean? He ain't got to worry about it.
He does, and I think it really comes down to how well we get our deals across the line this summer. Because if we do have spots that are still a little bit weak, and we're waiting till the end of the window, I can see a couple of things potentially falling in place for us if we're lucky. And one is that teams will have some players that need to go out on loan, that there is no more teams taking loans. They've already agreed their loans, they've already decided what they're doing, in which case it comes down to give them to us, with Parky telling them, you see who I have, they're going to have to fight for a position. That's what we do. Or you put them in League One.
Yeah.
And then they may just have to say, okay, look, you got to go in with these boys he's got. You got to fight with them, and you gotta pull your spot back out. And that may be the case. But if Parky can find someone, I'm sure we can afford a couple of million, you know, unless we end up going big in a few spots and just don't have the money then, and he can't buy everyone in one go. We'll have to see how it falls. But I don't think he will actively be looking to get loans for positions.
Yeah.
At least not to start.
Yeah.
Well, we're 2 days in, guys. It's interesting you say that, Paddy, because what I'd find interesting is I would love to be the fly on the wall to have a look at what the wish list is, you know? How long is it? How many in each position? You know, let's go shopping. And then and then even further down the line, once you start to secure one or two players, then it's like, well, now I can exclude these players because they're not going to fit. So now I need to try and really get in on these guys. So, I mean, like, it's a fascinating time of season. And it is Aaron's favorite time of the year, I think. Like, you know, and I mean, it's just one of the, and I get in on it too. Cause I mean, look, just the negotiations and the deals, I would love to be involved in those. That would be, I would be pig in mud if I could do that.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, like for Wrexham, right? Now let's just use 3 million as an example. You're going to buy a $3 million player that his market value is 3 million. So everybody's thinking, yeah, we've got to pay 3 million to get this guy. As much as you talk about, you know, agents talking up the Wrexham factor about going to Wrexham and they'll pay more, they'll actually get them for less because of the exposure that we supply, that we can provide to a player. You know, that is the X factor that we have at the moment that a lot of other clubs don't have.
Yeah. Two comments there is one from Scott. Ideally, you use the loan market in January, not at the beginning of the season. I do say potentially for us, that would be a much better way of doing it. Because Parky has kind of said one of the reasons he doesn't like the loan market is come January, you can lose your players. And then you have to completely rework your team potentially again. I would say he's much more likely to accept someone in January on a loan, knowing that we have lost players to injury or the reduced number of pool of players that you can buy in January as well. So that's one thing. I generally agree. January would probably be better for us to take someone in on loan, knowing we have them till the end of the season, rather than potentially at the start and then losing them. The other one then was Esteban was asking, so what's the thing he has read about Parky being open to a loan move? Well, Parky has generally been quite negative about loans before and saying, I will always purchase a player when I can, and Wrexham is in a financial position to buy these players. Lately, he, in an interview, he has basically just come out and said he's open to it. That's all he said.
Yeah.
He hasn't said he's going looking. He hasn't said anything else. So he's just putting it out there in that I will be discussing some of these issues with some clubs, most likely, but I still don't think he's actively out there running around chasing loans. He doesn't need to.
Yeah, he mentioned getting in touch with prim loan managers.
Yeah,
and touch the base with them and see what's out there. But here's the thing: definitely for us, we're not bringing in any loan players until the end of the window at the earliest. So we won't see a loan player. We're not bringing in a loan player early.
Yeah,
and most of the time you wouldn't anyway. We'll build our squad, and then if we need a player in a spot and he thinks a loan player can fill that role, then maybe we'll grab one towards the end of the window. But I wouldn't expect to see us do any kind of loan stuff until right last week of the window, probably late. It'll be late on.
Yeah.
And if it is a loan player at the end, it is going to be a player like this that is a big money player, because you're not going to bring in like a $1 or $2 million type loan player. You're going to buy that player. It's going to be a guy like Tyler Moore.
And another thing is the Prem teams like to have these guys in for the preseason. They like to have their young players, so they're going to want them all set. Most of these guys are going to be with their home club through the summer.
Developing.
They're going to want to have those guys at home. So Yeah, it'll be late on before we get anything. So we're definitely not the type of club that's going to build around loan players. I think we saw that with Wickham. They had some key loan players in key spots, and I
Boy,
think
did
that
they
hurt
cost
them,
them.
and that hurt them a little bit. So I know the one left and then came back, but I think they lost maybe one or two others. But you don't want to build around. We don't want to build around loan players and lean on them to you know to
It's not the
to
way
be our
good
best
clubs, it's not
players.
the way good clubs are built,
It's
Barron.
it's not. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really not. And we've got the money. We shouldn't have to. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, it's not. And another thing to consider as well, when teams are putting players out, is very often they end up selling the player to that team
Hmm.
because they've had a chance to evaluate them, they've had a chance to see if they fit within the team. And in theory, then you want to be giving them to a team who's may have the ability to buy him in the future.
Yeah.
Now, because we're in the championship, there's nowhere else to go. It's Prem teams or championship now. It's not like when we were before in League One, you could sell him to a champ after proving yourself. So, like, let's say Tyler Morton here. Absolute best
Hmm.
case scenario for everybody is it comes to late in the window. We still haven't bulked up all our midfield, and we say, yeah, we're willing to give this lad a spot on the team because he has to have a spot in order to come to us. And maybe we get a couple of injuries. He starts playing, and he's an absolute monster once he's in the team. He does a full season for us, is amazing. We could potentially stump up 10 million to get him, you know, as a youngster that's not going to get in the Liverpool team. And if he's better than that, then look, we lose out. He ends up going to another Prem team. They go and buy him or whatever for even more money. But if he ends up proving himself, we could pay 10 million for him in the future.
There you
But
go.
in,
Perfect
in
comment from John here. Birmingham in the past had to rely on 4 to 5 loan players to survive in the championship. Then in January it comes around, they get recalled and sent to higher teams, and you're screwed searching for the replacements. That's exactly right. Another comment, Walsall. Yeah, Walsall. I don't know if anybody paid attention to League Two this season. Walsall were
Yeah.
like something crazy, like 16, 17 points clear at the top, and managed. They had the best striker in League Two, Nathan Lowe. He'd scored 15 goals up until January, got recalled to QPR, and they fell off the face of a mountain and managed to not get promoted. They still made the playoffs. They made it to the
brutal.
League and
Yeah.
lost in the champion or in the playoff final.
Good win.
And so yeah, I mean, and then Matt Al throws out Louis Berry for Stockport. That was another one. He was hot this early part of the season in
Yeah.
January. He got pulled out of there. Now they
They
handled
managed
it
to do
better.
okay.
They
They did.
actually
They
handled it really
better.
well.
Yeah.
They may have got better actually. But he was a great player though. He's a
Yeah.
fantastic. And that was another thing came out today too.
He's
Apparently
going back out on loan.
he will be out on loan this year. So
Yeah.
what do you think on him? It is just throw it out there. What do you think on him? Would you have him? Where would we play him up top? Would you play him in that 10 role? Where would you play him? If or would you have him? I was just curious.
I would have him if we were buying him. Yeah, I would take him if Parky thought he could fit him in.
Not
Yeah,
on
but
loan.
I know but this is the question about loans. Is do you want to bring him in and try and find his spot? Because for me, he's too good to sit on the bench. He has proven himself now, in my mind, that he deserves to be playing with whatever team he goes to. So I wouldn't want to take him on a loan and sit him
No.
in that sort of a way. So it's a really tough one for him. Yeah, it is. Now, if we don't get who we're looking for, yeah, absolutely, bring him in as a replacement. If we don't get who we're looking for.
Yeah, I wonder, and I don't know if they ever did it with him. I know they played him out on the wing sometimes, Stockport. I wonder if he could play that 10. And boy, I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't hate that.
Yeah.
If he could. I mean, whew. But maybe I don't know if he's suited for that role. I really don't know. I don't know enough about his off the ball work, and his defensive type. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
know. I just don't know to be honest. I obviously his goal scoring is unbelievable.
that number 10 role is the key for this season for me.
I think
it
so
really
too.
is. We have to go big. I'm expecting that to be the biggest cost of the season.
It's been my toughest. I've struggled so much
To find someone.
to find what I want in that spot, and I'm not convinced. I still ain't convinced I found the right guy, but
For everyone in the chat, stay tuned because it's coming. It's coming tomorrow.
Yep, absolutely. We'll be doing strikers and the attacking mid, that 10 roll that we use tomorrow, and we will see what everybody comes up with. But I think that's good for today, guys. You guys got anything else?
Well,
Nope.
I mean, out of today, just a quick one. If you had to pick your top two.
Top two. Ooh.
I'll give you two players. And
right.
Paddy, you can critique. You can take two of Aaron's, two of mine, one of each, whatever you want. But I've picked two that you would take, Aaron. Do you want to look and I'll go, or you ready?
Yeah, so I'll take Tom Cairney and Josh Brownhill. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, those two, I don't think we're getting either one of those. That's cheating. No, I really like Adam Randell at Plymouth. So I think I'd take him. And my other, you know what? Let's go with. This is tough because I really like several of these guys. Maybe Alex Mowatt. I don't know how to pronounce that name. I liked him a lot. If we could get him, I would like having him.
Actually, the fun part about that was watching Aaron literally troll through, watching his face. Just he was torn. He couldn't make up his mind.
Dude, I really do like a lot of those guys.
Yep.
I'll
go next, so I'll let Paddy go last because Paddy's like the independent moderator. I would take Obed Vargas as one of my guys, and Pedro Vite. Definitely, I would take him. They were the two out of the four that I picked for today that I would definitely have. Obed for the future upside, and I think he's the best of the three others that I had. And Pedro is a guy that I think could, he wouldn't get a start straight away because Matty James has earned the role, but this guy would be biting at his heels and would be putting a lot of pressure on Matty James. So that would be my two. What say you, Paddy?
My first one is absolutely Adam Randell as well, actually. I have trouble after that, in fairness. They're all decent players. They're either older and not my first pick for the future of the team, but okay if we end up with them. And then some of the young guys are interesting, but I don't know them in any great way. I would like some young guys to come in unproven and to test them out. So yeah, today the midfield is kind of the weakest in my mind. We may end up with none of these guys. Actually,
we probably won't end up with any of these guys, but
no. Then the irony was the oldest guy I picked today was 23. I had a 19-year-old, a 21-year-old, and a 22-year-old below that.
Sorry.
You said he's on the Whitecaps, right?
Pedro, yeah.
He's on the Whitecaps. Okay, well, they play at 10:30 tonight. I will watch that game, and I will come back and I'll report tomorrow and tell you guys whether Ken's full of shit. This guy stinks. No.
He'll have a crap.
I am interested now. I will watch him. I am going to watch him now, just out of curiosity.
I'm actually a little bit more comfortable that our midfield is okay.
Me too.
With the players we have. Yeah. So for me, that's an area I think we can chance some younger players, bring in some fresh blood, give them a little bit of time to bed in, prove themselves, show they're good enough with the legs, and break into the team. The other positions around it, like the wing backs yesterday, and attacking that we'll be dealing with tomorrow, they're much more key for me to be upgraded. So
on your point, Paddy, you're sort of talking like Matty James, Dobbo, Rathbone, Elliot. There's four guys there that are all definitely going to get championship minutes and lots of them.
Minutes, yeah.
So I think that, we can afford to be exploring a little bit more, more adventurous in our purchases in this area that we looked at today.
Yeah.
Esteban did ask earlier, what about keepers? We said yesterday, Esteban, that we feel like obviously between AO and Burton, we've got our first two keepers, and it's probably only one more. So I can't see us buying anyone to replace AO. I think AO is going to get his championship chance.
Yeah,
as well he should.
Yep.
Yeah. So will we take someone in? Maybe not. If we do, will they be challenging for the first spot? Probably not, unless the correct keeper just comes up out of nowhere. But that's why I don't think it's worth speculating on it. You know, just for the single position. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow's going to be fun.
Tomorrow will be fun. I'll be honest. I've struggled because
Aaron,
I want a big one. I want a big one, and I cannot find the right one.
Aaron's narrowed down to 38 choices.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, be a 3-hour show tomorrow, guys. Aaron's got 30 players to go through.
Names in early, please, tomorrow, gents.
Yes.
I'll sorry, boss. I will do better for you.
That was his fault. I had mine in early. Mine were in early.
It all worked out.
All good.
And he did great as usual. Yeah. Good stuff. All right, guys. Well, I think that's good for today. So thanks everybody for coming. Make sure you hit the like on the way out. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. All that helps the channel. Thanks everybody for coming in. It's been a lot of fun. And we will see you tomorrow with our strikers and attacking midfielders. And on that bombshell, we are out of here.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.